Hey, Steve Stine from GuitarZoom here, and today what I'm going to be doing is talking about 5 essential strumming patterns that you can use on guitar, whether it's an acoustic guitar or an electric guitar or whatever it is that you might use. So we're going to talk about these, and they really go great with most songs that you'd be playing, and you can pick and choose which strumming pattern you think fits the best, and of course, which is most comfortable for you. So let's take a look at strumming pattern number 1. Now, as an example, I'm going to be using a C and an A minor chord as my example, but you don't have to use these. If you want to just use one chord or something, it's perfectly fine. But let me play you strumming pattern number 1 here, and it looks like this. All right, so let's break down what I'm actually doing here, and we're going to do this by scratching. We're going to touch all 6 strings to deaden the sound. I'm not pushing on them, I'm just touching them. And let's focus on the strum itself. So what I'm doing here is I'm playing down, up, down, up. Okay, do that with me. 1, 2, ready, and down, up, down, up. Down, up, down, up. Down, up, down, up. Down, up, down, up. So that's the first part. Then what we need to do is we need to add in an up, down, up. And what's happening here is if you think about strumming all the way around, all strumming is moving your hand back and forth like this. That's all it is. But it's learning to miss certain things to give the strum space. Because if we just did this all the time, it would be way too much. So learning how to miss the strums is the key. If you think about it, you're almost working backwards. So you start with a palette of down ups forever. Just, this is it. Okay? Now in this first strumming pattern, what we're doing is we're skipping the 3rd down. So we're going down, up, down, up, down, up. Now here's the trick. I'm playing the down. My hand is moving. My arm is moving. The down still exists. I'm just not hitting the strings. I am playing it with my body, with my hand, with my arm, but I'm not hitting the strings. So I'm going down, up, down, up, down, up. Now let me say it out loud. I'll say all of them, and you'll see I'm missing that down. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So I'm just missing that, and it's creating a pattern, a strumming pattern. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Now, why it's so important to learn how to do this is because oftentimes what people will do when they first start learning how to play strumming patterns is they'll stop. So they'll go down, up, down, up. And then what happens is now you'll notice I'm sitting down here, and now my next time around, I'm opposite. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And what happens is your brain gets confused because it's never really sure whether you should be on a down or you should be on up, and then the pattern feels awkward because it's always changing. If you learn to keep your arm moving at all, every strumming pattern that we'll talk about will all just be consistent of this. It'll just be me missing things. And then moving back in and missing things, and then moving back in. So this first pattern, you're going down, up, down, up, down, up. The down still exists, you're just not hitting the strings. Now again, I'm using C and A minor as my examples, although you don't need to use those chords. You can just practice scratching. You could just take one chord, whatever chord you want, and just practice going down, up, 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 down, up. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. You know, you could do something like that. But again, the example shows C and A minor, so that's what I'm using, but you could use anything, okay? So check out that strumming pattern, give it a chance, and when you're feeling good, come on back. Okay, so strumming pattern number 2, what we're doing is using the same chords, okay? But this time what I'm going to do is miss even more. So now I'm going to play it like this. I'm going to play down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. So I'm missing a bunch of ups, okay? And I'm also missing a down. So I'm going down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. And again, I'm really going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. But I'm skipping the down. I'm skipping this up. I'm playing a down. I'm skipping this up. And I'm also skipping this down. Okay? Which is giving it a really nice, slow, sort of country, folk, rock kind of feel. So I've got this. Okay, so that one's a really fun one too. So check that one out. And again, when you're feeling good, come on back. All right, moving on to strumming pattern number 3. This is one that I really love. I've always referred to this one as the Eagle strum because it works really great in most Eagle songs, but it works great in almost anything. And this one, what you're doing is you're playing this. I'm going to scratch it first so you can hear it. I'm going down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. So now what I'm doing is I'm missing the first up strum and I'm missing the third down strum. Down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. Again, the palette is down, up, down, up, down, up, down. This is what my arm is doing forever and ever and ever. I'm just missing different things to create a different kind of groove or different kind of beat or different kind of rhythm. Okay? So this one I'm going to do C and G back and forth. So it sounds like this. The Eagle strum. Okay, strumming pattern number 3. Take some time and see if you can absorb that one and use that in your playing. Okay, so now we're going to move into a bit more of a reggae, ska kind of feel where we're going to skip even more of the down strums. The more down strums we skip, the more it begins to sound more like reggae or ska. So what I'm going to do is just give you again the scratch here to show you the strum, and then we'll put it to some chords here. So I'm going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So I'm playing down, up, I'm skipping it down, I'm playing it up, skipping it down, and then playing it up. Now let me put it to the chords that are written in your book, which are C, G, D, and G. So I have. You can see how it sort of gets this sort of, Margaritaville kind of rhythm going. It's kind of fun. It just takes a little while to get used to because we're so used to playing downs all the time that the more we try and miss those, we get this kind of cool little funky thing happening with our rhythm. So just take some time to get used to. All right, now we're going to be looking at something that is in 3/4 time, a strumming pattern that fits into what we call waltz time. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, that sort of thing. And again, I'm just going to show you it scratching first, and then we'll look at it from what's written on the PDF, okay? So we've got this down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. And notice how I'm hitting that first beat a little bit harder, right? We're accenting that first beat. Boom. And we got to be thinking in our minds, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay? So what I'm doing here is I'm going to just take it over a D chord. I'm just playing. But on the handout, what I did was I just made this little pattern that goes like this. Okay, so what I'm doing there is again, it doesn't matter, but what I'm doing is playing a D, then I'm taking the middle finger off, and then I'm adding the pinky onto the 3rd fret of the 1st string, and then going back to the D. So I'm just creating this little melody over the D chord, and I'm not changing chords at all. So I'm going... and then I have to start all over on D again. So I always teach people that I call this like a D sandwich. You have to remember you're starting with D and ending with D. So when you end with D, you got to remember to start with D again. So you get D. Now I got to start again. Okay. So that's a really fun strum that you can work on as well. So there's a lot of different ways that you can do this, but I think this gives you a nice handful of strumming patterns that are actually useful in your daily practice. You just have to take them slow. And again, guitar playing, life in general, isn't a race, right? The goal is just to take your time and learn how to absorb something that you can actually use on a regular basis in your own playing. And not just actually play it, but feel it. And execute it, make it comfortable, make it something that, I used to always tell students if they were doing a strumming pattern like one of these, can they strum the pattern and can they tell me their phone number at the same time? Or can they strum the pattern and tell me their address at the same time, right? Because it shows that their body is able to do something and their mind is able to do something else. That's how we play music and change chords and all these different things that can happen, okay? And the last thing I want to say about this is, in the real world, as you're learning these strumming patterns, you might be playing a song and you might roll through 3 or 4 of these different patterns, plus things that aren't even on this sheet. And that's okay. Okay? Once you learn how to get this arm moving to create these different rhythms, there's just a whole host of really awesome things that you can learn how to do to engage a listener by the way that you're playing. Not just the strumming patterns, but the accents that you're using and the dynamics that you use in your playing. It's just a lot of fun. So stay positive and keep practicing.